Morning, everyone. We're going to do a quick Grail Quest tournament review. I have Konrad from Team Poland of 2 years ago and banned from last year. How
Hey
are you doing,
guys,
Konrad?
all good. How are you, Alex?
It's 6 in the morning. I just woke up to do this, but I'm excited now. We got everything
Well, it's,
working.
it's 12 in the morning here, and I just woke up to do this, so you know.
We're committed. It's a big tournament. 21 people. Half the people are in another tournament in California. But we have an interesting set of lists here. I don't know if you looked through them before because I sent them to you, but
I've got a quick look.
yeah,
But
I'd say overall it's interesting because there's like four KOE, four EOS, and then like no beast herds, no. I think there's any elves at this tournament at all. So
that's great for the Warriors, isn't it?
actually, yeah. When looking through, I saw all this armor, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I took alchemy to this tournament. Um, And then I look at Travis who has
Yeah.
demons, and he's like, "I have no AP in my army," and I'm like, "Well, good luck." So we're just gonna go through. We're gonna go top to bottom. Nothing too crazy, but I'm definitely curious in anything special or really really weird you see in a list, because I think especially like maybe EOS you've been playing around with lately, and when I look at lists for EOS, I'm like I don't know what it's supposed to do a lot of the time. So. All right.
That's good to sometimes build a list for another army and just have a think about them,
Yeah,
because you are not surprised by the lists afterwards.
that's true. And that's why I do these list reviews and look up the items because then I kind of remember what I'm seeing.
That's actually a good idea, I think.
All right, guys, let's do this. Conrad, this is Mark. I think you know Mark, actually.
Yeah, I've been working with him on the balancing team for quite a while. Uh, Back like 2 years ago or something.
All right, so here's his new Kingdom KOE list. We got a fighty Griffon guy or Hippo. That seems to be the new like Cannonball Duke, right? But just not with D3
Is
plus
he is
immunity.
he on Hippo?
Oh, he's
He's not
not.
written to be on Hippo, but I assume, but by the points that he must be, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at the points being 720. He has to be on Hippo, and I'm pretty sure if Mark has played Hippo for a while, so minus 10 points for wrong list. Um, we got BSB with Tristan's. I don't know what Tristan's resolve is, to be fair.
Isn't this the one that has like +1 attack and this can destroy the items, the magical weapons of the opponent?
That sounds right. Hey, I'll destroy my Portent Lord.
He's only 2 up armor save.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. The damsel. He seems to like adding the depth of shamanism in, have more spells, I guess.
Yeah, I think solo druidism is kind of weird, but on the other hand, I like the setup of Master plus Adept, but I would probably pick a bit different laws. I think Adept of Druidism should be enough, and then you pick Master of either Shamanism or Divination.
Gotcha. So you're basically taking a Div Lord to kind of have a little more reach and good buffs, and then the Druidism, you still get the heals if you cast the spells, but you don't really
Yeah,
get.
with Divination and with Double Scorpion setup, you actually can have a very decent distance magic phase.
Yeah,
And
no.
with additional crossbows, you could actually just play safely and play a bit more from the distance. Where if you have a Druidism and Shamanism, you don't have that much of the damage from afar.
Yeah. Do you like the Scorpions now at 115? They're both
No,
up.
come on, they were already very good at 125 or at 130, but now at 115, like I think it's very hard to not pick them
Yeah.
because they just restrict the movement of the opponent so much. And D3+1 clipped wings. What the fuck?
No, I'm totally with you. I feel like this, and you'll see some other lists, just could use. It's 230 points. It's like orcs taking two, rock
This,
lobbers.
this is like one machine in any other army practically, like one cannon,
Yeah.
right?
So what do you think of the list overall?
Uh, the core setup is kind of weird because the aspirants, how will they stand? Like I guess 5+3, and then damsels are not going there because you want the reroll to charge, and you will have like 10 impact hits then, right? If you are
Hmm.
5+3,
Yeah.
and then damsels will go into the realms. probably. The BSB also to the Realms. Maybe, probably Unicorn Damsel goes to the Grail Knights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think that having two big lances in core is kind of neat. I'm not sure about the crossbows. I haven't seen them much, so maybe they are actually good, but I think I would rather just have more models in the lances. They are kind of a fourth scoring unit, but they won't be able to score that much anyway.
Yeah.
What is curious for me is the Grail Knights, because I think that in Europe you play almost exclusively questing knights now.
Yeah, I know Francisco from Italy only plays questing knights, and he has like 2 units of 10 or more.
Yeah, I think this was like 2 units of 12 in Milano.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Well, we got more KOE lists to look. So yeah, not bad. Interesting. He likes the crossbows and stuff. He's been trying a lot of different things. But yeah, America tends to like Grail Knights over questing, it seems like, though.
It's kind of weird that he would pick the extra ammo save for both his yeoman units, and then he has like 8 points left in the list. I would rather do some other shifts to be able to spend those points, just because I hate leaving so many points unspent.
How many points is it for the shields?
It's 5 points for shields and 5 points for light armor, I think.
So if he did...
So basically, you can even probably switch one of the yeomen to the castellan on horse, and then you have like 30 points to spare, and then you have 38 points. So this is probably another model to the knights to the knights units.
You're just something going like down a rabbit hole, just down a rabbit hole of fixing lists. I like it. All right, this next guy has a kind of a crazier. So yeah, his hippo is 720. So I'm guessing Mark's was a hippo too, because it was.
Yeah, his hippo doesn't have the Fortress of Faith.
That's the reroll ones.
Yeah, but he has the Basalt Infusion, so the Mark's hippo is actually only 3 up armor save, right?
That sounds,
is it?
I think you can. Is this 2 up? It's 5.
I think you cannot make a 1-up hippo. So because Mark didn't pick the Basalt Infusion, he must be a 2-up. He must be a 3-up.
Yeah, well, clip on the edge. Then we have this guy. His piety doesn't put you on foot, does it? No, it doesn't.
No, it's not on foot. It's definitely not on foot.
Listen, he has 33 Knights Forlorn. I thought he might have tried to put him on foot or something. I have 0. What is this list supposed to do, Konrad?
Okay, that's really weird, I'd say, because maybe the paladin is on foot. I don't know.
No, he is questing.
Okay, although he has the banner of speed, ghostly god. No, he cannot be on foot. That wouldn't just add up to this ridiculous cost, I think. And while he is because if he is mounted, then he has to go into the realms, and realms. Then you lose the impacts from the banner of the last charge, right?
On that rank, yeah.
Now, maybe we should. I think he should be on foot. He doesn't have the Barded Warhorse written in, and the guy actually remembered to write the Hippogriffin, so maybe he is on foot. Because the Banner of Speed setup and Ghostly God seems to suggest that he wants to go into Knight Forlorn.
Yeah, and he has a great weapon, which I don't. Can you get on a horse?
He shouldn't have great weapon. He has questing off, so he has Bastard Sword base. So I don't know why. What is the great weapon doing there? Probably a misclick or something.
I told you, some of these guys are not the biggest tournament people. So
yeah.
Do the peasant levy come with an item?
Trebuchets actually.
Do they come with an item?
This is extremely weird list. I usually prefer to play with the list that has much more units than like 3 main units and a cowboy, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
The Mark list in this sense is much more interesting because he has the very nice combo of the Green Knight with double Damsel.
He has to come out within 6 of the Damsel?
Yes, I think so. But nice. He can move after that. So if you have 2 damsels and you split them, then it's actually kind of nice because you can put the Green Knight basically wherever you want.
Yeah, that's a lot of options. This is kind of just, and he has like, how do you like trebuchets? That's probably the last question I have about this list.
They are not that expensive, but the catapults in the current days are usually meh, and it's just better to take something to take the big boys out. Because you usually, like my feeling is for the catapults is that I usually can handle the big units pretty well. I don't care if my opponent has the big units of something, because you can outplay them much more easily.
Yeah.
But for the single models, it's harder to outplay them, and they can do some nasty stuff. So it's better to restrict their movement as much as possible. And trebuchets are not that great at hunting some big guys, especially like they are. I think they are worse than scorpions, and they cost more than twice that they cost.
Yeah, I mean it's 530 points. It's a lot of points.
Can you have trebuchet and 2 scorpions? Actually,
I'm not a KOE master, man.
Okay. Let me check that, because this might be actually interesting if you can. Because you definitely cannot have 3 scorpions, but maybe you are not restricted to like 2 machines, but you are restricted to 2 of one kind.
You look that up.
Yeah, you can actually have 2 share the same. Okay, so you cannot. So you cannot have two scorpions and 1 trebuchet. That's a shame.
It's a shame. All right, we're on to Empire. Your new love, Empire. There's 4 Empire lists, and they're all very different. So.
Yeah, there is one very interesting one, but this is not the one.
Is it the one with the 5 Griffons?
I think I'm talking about the full cav list.
Oh, okay. There's another one that's interesting too. So This is more standard, right? It's the Cosmo, Pyro, BSB on foot, some cross.
Yeah, I think for Cosmo, like I don't see a reason to pick up the binding scroll if you don't have a big target.
Steam tank. Man.
If you have a dragon or like double Gortak setup, then binding scroll is interesting. But if you take the binding scroll just for the sake of the binding scroll, then maybe this is just not worth it, you know?
I understand. Do you like Rocketeers?
That's Imperial Gods with shields, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing, because they... But people don't write things on their list, but I'm going to assume... Do they not come with shields?
Yeah, I think they come with shields.
Yeah,
but,
I think you have to buy the great weapons. Cavalry pick.
I don't like this list for one particular reason. Because you basically don't use the parent and support unit combination. You don't have Knight Commander, so your Electoral Cavalry is actually not a parent unit. And you have no heavy infantry in core, so you have no counter charges.
So the nightly orders don't make you.
Yeah. Then what's your question? I can help you with that, I guess.
Can nightly orders? What does nightly orders do?
This is +1 strength, +1 weapon skill.
Oh, so that doesn't.
+1 AP.
Oh, it's the one of a kind. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, to get the power to get nightly orders to be parent, you have to have a Knight Commander with them.
And the only parent unit he has is the household standard. This one, this 23 Imperial Guard.
Yes.
And then he has some. These.
Yeah, the light infantry is kind of forced to stay near the Imperial Guard, because if they don't stay near the Imperial Guard, then they cannot shoot from 3rd rank. And they cannot stand and shoot when someone charges the Imperial Guard, so they are kind of glued there in some way. So this is kind of weird. And then you have the hero setup that basically is the general and BSB that just stay in the Imperial Guard and try not to die.
Yeah, well, you got the Locket of Sunna, which is annoying as shit of an item.
Yeah, but this is on foot, so
just avoid it.
This is like avoid the Imperial Guard unit, kill everything around it, and then if you have time, you just kill the Imperial Guard in the end. That would be my guess.
Do you like Rocketeers? I know they used to be popular.
Yeah, they are kind of good. They are kind of good. I'm actually considering this exact setup for my shooting, like steam tank plus double rocketeers. But for now, I'm sticking with the cannon because I'm also using engineer. And if I'm using engineer, then the cannon is obviously a bit better.
Yeah. So overall, kind of a basic list, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, this looks just like a standard Empire
Yeah.
list. I would love to have the Scepter of Power on Cosmology. I think it's excellent because for the sixth spell,
Yeah.
is it a sixth spell?
Number
I mean
five.
the burning on the unit.
Number
You
5.
can try to free dice it because it will be on 9 up, so you don't have to rely on the attribute. Then the missile will be on 6 up, so again you don't have to rely on the attribute. And with the Scepter of Power, you can easily risk it. And then the Scepter is in general pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Maybe replace the binding scroll for it would be nice.
Yeah, probably. But in general, pretty solid list. Pretty solid list.
Yeah. Another KOE list. This time's much different, and even has questing knights and Grail knights.
Okay.
So we have the single druidism again, a BSB with Dusk Forged, Crystal Ball. That's interesting.
That's an interesting choice, definitely. It's like Ether Icon Plus. How much is Crystal Ball now? Isn't it like 30 points or something? I think it's quite ridiculously cheap now, isn't it?
Oh, it's +1 to Dispel versus certain wizards, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, and most people run Masters nowadays, so
Yeah.
it's actually nice.
It's not bad. So it's essentially what, double? He has +1 to Dispel and MR3, MR4 if he put depending on. I mean, but his realms are so small. Do you think that's a problem? Like that his knights are just not big.
I don't think that this is a problem, but it's kind of weird to have this small unit of knights and then put so many points in the commands and all of this and all the banners and stuff. Because it makes the list look like really small.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the brigands, I would definitely like look. Two scorpions are just over the price of 11 brigands. Like.
Yeah, why not have scorpions to hemp the big things?
Yeah.
Do you like these small packs of Grail Knights?
The Grail Knights darts were actually kind of popular at some point, but I don't remember why. Probably they got an increase because they used to be a bit cheaper. But you actually this is actually an interesting unit that it's not that easy to imagine how it will be set up before you see it on the game, because you usually run it 1x3, so only one column. And they can add a lot of attacks to the combat, right?
Yeah. So he runs them 3 wide. So you think it's a mistake to go 3 wide, and you should go 1 wide?
Oh, but what's the point of running them 3 wide? Like, okay, you sometimes will get a rank, but with 3 models, that's not exactly the. And if you run them one wide, then you can then you can chop 6 inches instead of 3, right? Because you are spread much wider, so you can chop more units with that.
No, that's true.
Like 230 points is good chopping material.
I like it. I bet you he does it now after he watches this, because he doesn't do it. He was on my team for a team trial. I love Gene.
I think I like this concept of this is somewhat of a fresh concept for the KO. I'm not a huge fan of the heroes builds, but in general this looks interesting.
Double binding scroll. Look at that.
Yeah, the details are maybe not to my liking, but they are kind of a personal preference. But the general concept of having like this very MSU-ish approach in the KOE, kind of nice.
We'll see what Gene can do.
Yeah.
All right, Travis's list. I'm playing it today, so as a demon player, what do you think?
Good luck. I don't know. The demons are very awkward for me recently. I I don't exactly like the thing that if you have this setup with the Omen and Kulima, then you are kind of stuck with your Omen.
Yeah,
You are just always in one unit and you never jump out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have no second unit to put yourself into. If I'm
Or
bringing Omen, I like having options. And here you clearly have the Kulima in Sakobi and Omen in Myrmidons, and you have no other way to play this.
yeah, he also has no AP, really.
It will be a funny tournament for him. Like the Bloodflies can help a bit, but they are nowhere near their prime. When like you picked 15 Bloodflies and you just destroyed every KOE army on spot.
Yeah, well, you've seen the list enough, so it's a decent
The
list, but
Titan Chariots are really interesting, I think. What do you think about them?
I've seen them in games, and I'm gonna see them again today. I just on paper they feel good, but I feel like it's toughness 4, like 4 wounds, isn't it?
Toughness 5,
Are
isn't
they
it?
toughness 5? Are you
I
sure?
think they're toughness 5.
I
They have no armor save, but they are toughness 5.
All right. Well, I was looking at the other ones that were toughness 4, and they just seem to die really easily. And if you don't hit, like they hit their, it's everything in demons, right? If it hits the target, it does a great job. If it hits anything else, it's kind of shitty, right?
Is it kind of shitty actually? They have 3 attack strength 6 and 2 attack strength 5.
It's okay.
And I think like they cannot pick good like very strong fights, but they can support the combat sometime with Divining Snout. It's actually kind of easy to get them to support the combat, and then they can also melt units like zombies probably.
I like the idea of them. I just have yet to be super impressed, but the threat is nice to have.
Yeah,
Even so.
they kind of restore the feeling of having cannons in the demons list. So I'm really a fan of them when I think about them.
Yeah. No, I think it's an interesting list. He has a little bit of everything. Big block.
Yeah.
Ambushers. We'll see if it works. I think
I'm just ashamed that even though we had so many updates that were aimed at helping the big demons, still the big demons are not appearing in the list. I would need to try them a bit more because I didn't have much time to play demons recently.
Yeah.
But the main problem with the big demons is still now the thing that you have armies like rats that play double cannon again probably. You have things like Empire, you have things like Ogres, and then the demons are just not resilient enough. You know, they are obviously better with the hard target, but I don't know. They just feel so risky.
I agree. Well, there's a demon list with it, so. On to Orcs and Goblins. I thought this list didn't have a BSB for a second, and then I realized it was on the Great Green Idol.
Oh yeah, 30 mounted feral Elbashers. Nice.
You like it?
It kind of looks like my kind of list.
We got a
kind of looks like it.
We got an Omen guy. We got a Thom Master on a spider, a Witchcraft guy.
Oh, it's in Gargantula. Wow. That's interesting.
We got some Mad Gits. Some Cave
this unit is extremely annoying. The Cave Goblins with Mad Gits with the Banner of Lentus Company. Extremely annoying unit.
Yeah. I think it's... people should use it more. I like it with I like the lists that do the 2 spider heroes, like the ones on the Huntsman, and then they do the vanguarding, and they vanguard all of it forward, and then they walk the Mad Gits in front of you.
Yeah.
Spider heroes.
Yeah.
See, this is like... I feel like Orc lists should have, like, 2 rock lobbers or something, just to threaten big shit. Is it just?
Yeah, I think he has a bit too much combat. If he dropped like one of the mounted feral Elbashers unit and brought like a bit more machines, or maybe even just drop the Gargantula Master, because I wouldn't feel very safe having your Master on Gargantula, especially because this is Thaumaturgy, so maybe you don't need the line of sight only for the number 1, so maybe it's not that bad, but still it's like your majority of magic is on Gargantula.
Yeah. So if it dies, you're pretty much like 800
Yeah.
points down. Yeah, I think you could have used a bolt thrower or two, a rock lava, or something to just threaten from a long range.
Yeah, the one skewer is just not enough, I think.
I don't know about the BSB on a Great Green Idol. I guess I get
Well,
it.
you kind of save a lot of points by having this. So, like, it's kind of weird in this list because on one hand you save a lot of points by having Great Green Idol as a BSB, but on the other hand you pick the Witch Doctor on Gargantula. You pick the Book of Arcane Mastery for the Wolf. Like,
That
kind of
guy's worth a lot of
here.
points if he dies. Like it goes from 365 to 655 for dying.
Yeah. But again, I think this list is interesting. In many lists, like what kind of weirds me is that the cave goblins with nets here. Because
core,
usually the point of this 20 man goblin unit is that you have the goblin BSB that has to hide somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But here you have no such hero, so maybe you could just drop them.
Yeah, I guess he needed min core. Maybe he didn't have any other models. He just owned.
Or you can yeah.
He just
Because
owned
probably
Headbashers and
the common goblin riders to be core as well. Instead of those cave goblins, you free like 150 points outside of core.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, where's his mage going? The one on foot or the one on horse? Is it going in the 5 common
He can go into either of the 3 mounted unit. He has 4 units to hide in.
You can go in the big ones. Yeah, you're right.
But he can also go into the 8 goblin riders.
8 paired you like paired weapons on these guys? Lots of attacks.
Or what? Okay. So they have like what 2 attacks each now, with strength 5 on the first round.
3 attacks on the charge. Don't they have +1?
3 attacks on the charge, yes. But isn't it just better to have lances, especially because you don't have that much AP going on?
Oh yeah, probably.
And you have no musicians on them as well. Ugh.
The maneuverability. Konrad's like, uh-oh, this is not going how I thought it would go.
Manfroni knows something about this, right?
Does he?
Yeah, kind of a problem with like I don't know if even having a champion wouldn't be nice on those for the purpose reason of the thaumaturgy. Although it has a low initiative. The problem is that you don't have that many targets for the breath weapon from thaumaturgy, and it's usually not a good sign. If you want to have thaumaturgy, you need to have a decent amount of champions in the list, I think, or just single model units.
At least his boar riders have a champion. His feral ones.
Yeah, but probably he puts his lord there.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't. It is what it is.
Do you trust this list?
No, of course.
Do you have trust in this list?
No, I don't. Do you?
I don't know the player, but the list looks kind of like all those many of those lists that we've seen are okay in the concept, but on the details they just don't fit good.
It's like the music. It's like what would you? You're exactly right. You said okay, I might make this into this, and I have 150 points, and I'm gonna get champions.
Yeah,
it's like little things like that where you're like, if somebody just like crafted the details afterwards, it would look a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what I wanted to say. Like have a bit more shooting. Maybe don't have a risky mage. Maybe have more champions, musicians, such things.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
Another demon list. Another omen deceiver list. Very close to Travis's list. This is the same core, except that she took smothering and unhinging jaw. He took this. Little different.
Okay. At least he has hellhounds to back up his omen here.
Yep.
So this is something. The claw fiends without the musician. Yeah.
He has triple adepts instead of a master. How do you feel about that?
Witchcraft, and this is that's interesting, but I think he's kind of lacking the adept of thaumaturgy here. Because from witchcraft, what do you really need from witchcraft?
You
You
can
need
get,
number one from witchcraft because it's nice.
but you can get that on the deceiver if you need to.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. And then what?
Raven's Wing, I guess. It's Raven's Wing.
Raven's Wing is number one, and then the wheel turns on Sukubai. I guess it can be good. I'm not saying that it cannot, but you kind of lack the range threat with this list.
Yeah, because he only
Like,
has.
what do you have from range?
If he takes divination, but it's going to be on a non-master, so it's going to be high
So you,
casting.
so you kind of need to take some
Narrow.
hereditaries, I guess. But the spam of you don't have even the spam of hereditaries. It's kind of weird. If you have Thaumaturgy is kind of nice in these kind of setups where you have only adept, where you have not that many spells, because the breath weapon works both as close combat support and as a range support.
Agree. What do you think of 2-time claws fiends instead of like hoarders or something like that, like going double on them?
Piercing Spike is definitely overpriced in the Claw Fiends, I think. It's only plus 1 AP, and look, it's like the cost of Unhinging Jaw, and Broodmother is not that far from it, so I'm not sold on that. I used to play Claw Fiends a whole lot, and the major problem with them is if they get to the right target, they can be absolute beasts. But if they don't get into right target, they are absolute trash. Look, I think 6 Claw Fiends will have a lot of trouble winning a combat against like 15 Hammerers, and 15 Hammerers are less than half the price. Because you hit them on 4, you wound them on 4, then they have 6 up armor save, and when they hit you back, they have 15 attacks. Based on formation, but they have at least 15 attacks on 3 up on 2 up. And you have ward save on 5 up, so I think you will be in a lot of trouble, even against like 15 dwarves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of a problem with Claw Fiends. So maybe having 2 units of Claw Fiends, like, okay, one will probably get a good matchup, but the other will probably get a bad matchup, and I don't think it's that well of a trade-off.
Yeah.
1 unit of Claw Fiends is okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious. Yeah. It's like Travis's list, except this is like becomes other things, right?
The Dark Pulpit is actually really interesting. I don't know if you know what this guy does.
I know, it's a big ass base that has like toughness 5 and stuff like that.
He has 5 wounds, I guess. I don't think he has toughness 5, but he has 4 up ward save, and he has like 7 attacks total with strength 5 from the model.
Yeah, it's a big ass base too. Takes up a lot of rank.
He seems to be really nice with the lemurs. Like, imagine having this guy in the lemurs with the manifestation that hits back on your opponent on rolls of 1.
Mirrored scales, yeah. No, that'd be really
yeah, exactly.
Not enough mirrored scales in these lists. Alright. Is this the list you liked?
Yes, I think so, yeah. just really interesting. And he has Knight Commander, so he has parent unit, but he has no support units.
They don't appreciate the parent support combo like you do.
I don't know. And again, the Master of Cosmology with no scepter.
Nope.
Really weird.
They're not going to take it. Don't expect it.
Yeah. Adept Pyro Horse. What is Arcane Power? Oh, Book of Arcane Power. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So what do you think? It has a little shooting in these, and then it has a bunch of knights and griffins.
Okay. Why do you need Great Tactician on your BSB? You have 1 unit to. Okay. You want what? You want +1 speed on them, and you want fighting extra rank, I guess.
Can you get?
So he wants to charge you and kill you. That's the point of the list.
Yeah, well.
It's pretty solid.
We'll see how it does. I have nothing else to say, other than it seems like it's going to move forward and try to kill people.
Yeah. This seems like this kind of list.
Alright, this is the one I was talking about, where it has like a Great Griffin, a Great Griffin, a Great Griffin.
Ah, yeah.
So I realized that they have 0 save, right? They're just They're just like this master on a divot. This
They
guy.
might like 6-up, and this master
Oh, he has winter
6-up
cloak.
is 6-up top.
He has winter cloak though. What does that do?
This is distracting and 5-up ward save, and 2-up ward save against fire.
Jesus.
So so he actually probably just murders your opponent straight away.
This guy?
Yeah.
This guy will, but he also dies to magic pretty easily too.
Kind of likely, yes.
Or he dies to every other model in the army, right? They're the ones he can't challenge. It's like, oh, yeah, this is an interesting list. I mean, he has a decent amount of shooting, no steam tank.
Yeah, Steam Tank is just a very solid choice. It allows you to play a much different game.
For like this model, right? It's no threat to like anything. What the fuck's the potion of swiftness for? He doesn't even have command.
Imperial Prince means that he has the Songstall, I think.
Oh, does it? Does it come with that? Then maybe I'm wrong.
I think so. So he has like 4 attacks that auto wound.
Okay, that's cool then. Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, that's called useful knowledge, right?
Yeah, all right. I'd have to ask. What do you think of these like Great Griffon heroes, though? The 210 points for a flying.
I really have no idea. There is no BSB in this list as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, there isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Great Griffon's like, okay, here it's maybe a bit over the top because you have just too many mages. Like the interesting part is that those the single Great Griffon can choose from 4 spells.
Mm-hmm.
So the Wizard Apprentice on Great Griffon, like by itself, is interesting. I just cannot seem to fit him in my lists. But he seems like a very interesting model. I need to give it a go at some point.
Yeah.
But having like 5 of them,
maybe no.
I think he's just cool, but not that playable.
Alright, we'll see how he does. We're gonna keep going.
I can just imagine like your general dies from like cannon, or like you have to be very careful with your general. But the Knights of the Sun Griffon actually give the block the line of sight to the Great Griffons, right?
Yes. Yeah, because towering still doesn't matter for that purpose, right?
Yeah, because the Knights of the Sun Griffon are also tall.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe it's not actually that easy to lose your general. I don't know. Okay, ogres.
Ogres with no hunters.
But there is a great Khan.
I know, and makes up for it.
It looks kind of like a list from the yesteryear. Looks kind of like a list that were played at ETC 2016. I think Italians played this kind of list.
Just 3 big units with characters.
Just yeah, I think they only had 2, but then the Mammoth obviously, and then yeah, I don't exactly remember. I remember that everyone was so scared about this list, and then the guy did pretty shitty at the ETC.
What do you think of this one? Too old school? Too unmaneuverable?
I don't know. Maybe it's a decent alternative of testing to the hunters, because hunters are now everywhere. They got a bit more expensive, but not that much more expensive.
Yeah.
Just kind of weird that you have no ranged threats. You have poison and plate armor, but you don't have the brace of pistols. Ish.
Yeah, he has bombardiers only, no cannons, no
if you had the brace of pistols there, and then maybe like 1 cannon, then this would be really cool, I think.
Yeah.
And the cult leader on BSB is really weird. Because do you think that this list plays really widely?
Yeah, do you really need 18 inches on him, is what you're saying? Yeah, because...
Yeah.
No, yeah. Bombardiers need it. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe, but they are leadership 7 anyway, so leadership 7 even with the reroll is...
You know a lot about this list, so...
This is Manfroni list.
Yeah.
This is exactly Manfroni list from the Milano.
Do you like it? I mean...
No, no, I don't like the zombie dragon plus double horrors. Just awful.
In what way?
This one is definitely a more interesting setup than I had, because I didn't have even the MR on the dragon. But I think the Reaper's Harvest is just too much. It's not worth it. And the ghouls, I don't like ghouls either. And free scoring units, Ish.
All slow scoring zombie units, you mean?
Yeah, I played with 3 times 20 zombies, and I won 4 out of 5 scenarios, but it was just terrible. So
We'll see how he does with it. See
uh,
if the dragon goes down or something.
well, on the tournament you don't have that many. Okay, you have a lot of empires, so you will have to be careful on his dragon.
Yeah.
But if he's playing against lists like those demons, then he should completely this list, and the list that I played actually then is just a total noob stomper. Like if you play in a good matchup against something who's not that prepared, then you just crush him without any hesitation.
Yeah, he said he was coming to play Fluffy for fun.
It's just crush or get crushed kind of list.
So this is my list. We don't have to spend too long on it, but what are you laughing about?
Yeah. It looks I want to see how the double Helma will work, and the 10 flyers with skin and glass is an excellent idea.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Yeah, you don't want to show too many ideas from your own list.
I don't want to give away my own tactics.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Konrad, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. I gotta see my wife off real quick.
Sure.
All right, short break. We're back. We're at Kelly Whedon's list. Fucking, I hate Infernal Dwarves so much. I don't know
why.
I don't know, because I don't know what anything does, and I just know it has flaming wards. So here.
Yeah, but they have only 5 flaming wards, so.
That's true. And he's a good guy. I like Kelly a lot.
Do you have to up ward on against fire on your portal?
Can't fit it anymore, man.
Oh yeah. Unfortunate, because this Burning Steel Lord can actually try to kill you if you don't kill him first.
Oh, him? Yeah, I don't know what he does. What is that?
He has 5 attacks, metal shifting, and he has hatred built in.
What does metal shifting mean? No armor?
Yeah, so he wounds you on 2 up and you have no armor.
Oh, it's like freaking having a Quicksilver Lash, but in, like...
Yes.
That's some shit. And it's flaming.
But he has, 2 up armor save, as far as I can see.
I'm just gonna... Bait the Kadai incarnates into charging my... fucking... Elder or something. They're 5 rerolls, right? They have to reroll their flaming attacks, aren't they?
They have flaming attacks, yes.
So that's good for me, right?
Yes.
Excellent. There we go. That's my plan.
He will usually just add alchemy attribute, so it will be even.
That's true.
It's curious to see the Crown of the Wizard King, though. With the Rod of Battle, I think the investment is just not worth it. Like, for the points of the Crown of the Wizard King and Rod of Battle, you can actually nearly pick the Icon of the Inferno.
And now we've heard that Essence is going to change, potentially.
Potentially. Yeah. But maybe this is not a great time to talk about this. Let's maybe wait for the official update,
Yeah, I know. And then
this list is I don't know. I don't like the concept. You have just the blocks of dwarves marching at you, and you have one engine that will shoot, and that's it.
Oh,
I love to play against this list with basically anything.
He keeps changing it, but he keeps taking that damn infernal engine that I hate. Can never kill it.
It's pretty annoying. I admit.
We'll see how Kelly does.
But it just doesn't do that much. When I played it, it just doesn't do that much.
Yeah, I also had Forsworn and Chosen when I played him, and I don't have either of those, and it's really nice versus like Chosen because it's just the D3 wounds.
Yes.
So
yes.
It won't be as bad. All right, this is his son, Frank. I knew Frank when he was like just a boy, like they're like 12 or something, and he'd play in tournaments.
Okay.
Now he's a man. Now he's in college. And so I helped him a little bit with this list. As you can see, there's no Helmaw, and that was his choice. I told him to take a Helmaw, but he said he didn't want to play with one because he hasn't been playing that long when he came back, so he didn't want to have to deal with the portals.
Thinking, yeah, I can definitely see that.
So he has a pretty nice Portent Lord. So he's shielding because he takes the Great Weapon Spike Shield guy, which is nice. Pretty solid hero setup. Veilwalker. He has a War Shrine mount, which is...
That's just a very, very solid list that will march towards you and try to kill you. A bit low on redirectors, though, if you want to play something like this, I think.
Yeah,
I would definitely change the core setup. Like, okay, if you want the warriors, then okay, but the second unit of warriors is kind of unnecessary. You can pick like I don't know, maybe horse barbs that can be a chaff, maybe more warhounds, and then just have like triple warhounds and the bigger warrior unit.
Yeah,
because you have good scoring anyway.
And the mage is already on a War Shrine. If he was on foot, maybe I could be like, all right, Lust just to flee and stuff, but it's still expensive. I think this could have been, you're right, something else, and just put every character in. I mean, the Lord has to go in this unit anyway, because he can't go in the other ones.
Yes.
So
yes,
I totally agree.
I guess now the War Shrine goes into the small unit of warriors.
I think it depends. I don't think it had. I'm not saying that Frank doesn't have a plan, but I think it's not. It could be either. But then I just feel like if you're gonna do the War Shrine, you might as well put it
in the bigger unit, and that's nice that you have the choice.
Yeah, I would have dropped.
But I think that here, instead of having this choice, it would be just better to have more trap, because you just don't have enough space on the battlefield anyway. Like you can imagine, he has 1, 2, 3, 3 big units that want to march, and then the Chosen and Warrior Knights that also take some place. So the army is pretty wide already.
Yeah. What do you think of the Chosen Wrath Great Weapons?
They were always a solid pick, and I think they remain to be so. This is like 18 attacks. Excuse me. This is 18 attacks, strength 6, AP 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and in good initiative, so.
Initiative 6?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think these units, when I look them on like on paper, I'm like, whatever. And then I start thinking, especially Wrath, because I'm gonna take some Wrath Knights and try them. But when you see them on the table and you realize like how many things can't charge them,
the very nice thing is the very low, very small footprint.
Yeah.
And then people kind of just ignore them. They don't consider them that such a big threat that, yeah.
They can stomp a lot of points. I mean, they're not cheap. I mean, 450 points is not like nothing.
Yeah, this is a price of the Feldrak.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you get more attacks on a small frontage, but you lose. I mean, it's move 5 non-Swift Stride infantry.
Yes.
Right. So there's a price to play. It doesn't. I don't like that it doesn't have musicians here and here at least to kind of like wheel around.
I think on the Chosen the musician is not that necessary.
Because
you have such a small frontage and all, but on the warriors I think the musician would be nice. And I think warriors actually with lances are very overcosted. I would prefer to have like greed probably. And then like not having a Chosen champion on warriors and just bringing a 6th knight is weird as well. Because the Chosen champion gives you the opening to marks and it costs
35 points. It gives you an extra.
It costs less than having an additional knight, and he has the extra wound anyway.
Yeah, but overall the list is solid. I think without the Helmaw, it loses a little bit of its, we'll say, playmaking ability, but it has all the other pieces.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like when I'm playing against lists like this, and we've seen this Empire list that had Hulkav and all that, I just feel very comfy against this list. Because there is nothing special. There is just the raw power, and I can try to outplay the raw power.
Oh yeah, I 100%.
Because there are not that many tricks that can surprise you here, you know.
I prefer to play against stuff like when I look at the list and it has like 0 shooting. I know warriors don't have shooting, but I always feel a lot more like if I see an orc list without like 2 catapults, I just feel like it expands what I can do because I can move so much more and not worry about a cannonball hitting my fucking lord or something. Right? That's a different.
Yeah, and then like if you have a list, for example, when you play against vampires and they have, instead of having like 3 units in core, they have like 7 units in core,
Hmm.
then you are very likely that you will not be able to get good points out of them because they will just chop you to death. And well, if they play like with bigger units, then it's much easier to just get to them, isn't it?
I agree. All
That,
right.
that's what I feel like.
Another. So look, this we got two big demons in this one.
Yes, because the Sentinel of Nakuya is Trixian Spirit for some reason.
Is that the one that flies?
Yeah, this is the one that flies.
And it can't. Can it join units? It can still join units, right? Or no?
No, I don't think he does because he's gigantic. So
Oh,
he has
and then
a
a war.
one
Then a,
attack, strength 5, and a stomp, and crush attack.
okay, and then we have this guy, mirrored scales.
Mirror scales on Cartesian is really weird. Like mirror scales on what was this guy called on Miser. It's really interesting because with toughness 7 and effective often 1-up armor save, you will tank a lot of hits and then you just strike back a lot. But with mirror scale on Cartesian, I don't think that you will be able to get that much strikes back before you die.
Yeah. His magic is okay. Lemurs, succubi. I feel. Do you feel like he's lacking like combat threat? Enough combat threat? Or do you think he has enough?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
He has the Fiends, he has the Cartesian.
What's stiff
Like
up the
it's
list?
still not that much combat as for the demons list, but you know the lemurs are really weird here because I don't really see what they're supposed to do. And there are obviously 0 musicians in the list because who needs musicians? At least he has champions for the breath weapon from Thaumaturgy, you know.
What does this do? What's stiff upper lip?
I think it's minimized roll for the leadership.
Oh. All right. You don't need to use musicians if you don't know how to use musicians, right, Joey? So this guy was on my team for a team tournament that we got like crushed at. So I love Joey, but you know what? He's gonna do what Joey does. The funny part about you talking about these lists is you don't know who the players are, and I don't know all of them. But when you talk about things the list could do, I'm like in my head, I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna make fun of Joey because I always do. But like, you talked about the champs for Thaumaturgy. I don't know if that was intentional. Like, I don't know if he did it for that or if he did it just to take challenges from characters.
Maybe.
But he did. But I might be wrong because he did put him on like fucking every unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, good job, Joey. All right, another Warriors list. The last Warriors list.
Double Forsaken one. Yes. Yes,
Right?
we finally arrived at this moment.
This is the
And
moment
6
we've all
wretched
been waiting
ones.
for. So we have a Veil Walker Wizard Master. Nothing crazy here. It's pretty. I kind of like the Essence of Mithril. Get you the 2+. For 50 points, though. For like 10 points more, you can get a 1+. No, because you need. No, because you need the. It's actually like 20 points more. So that's probably might be the best version of it. Hero's Heart, 4 strength 5.
But probably just a solid 4-up is just better.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the Destiny Call.
Yeah, that's actually probably true in this case. It's 20 points more.
Okay, this list has 2 scoring units. What's going on?
Oh, no, this list is. I mean, we're gonna say it's cool because he has Fallen and he has Forsaken one, but it might be my pick to come in last. This event.
I don't know the guy. I think it's much less dependent on the list than it is dependent on the player.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
But still, this is really rough with having only 2 scoring units.
Well, it's like little. We talked about it, right? It's little things. His core is almost 200 points more than it has to be. Right?
Is it? Yeah, it is. Oh wow! Oh, because those are the Sloth Warriors with Zealot's Banner.
See, that's
they are kind of the most expensive that you can get, right?
But why do you have Zealot's Banner? They don't even have a command. Like they don't have you get 4 extra strength 4 attacks, 5 extra strength 4 attacks. Like for 60 points, at least have like great weapons or something, right?
Yeah. And with great weapons with Sloth would be actually sensible.
Yeah, and so like this could be gone. 5 scares me a little bit.
Just put some scoring instead of Fallen, and you are already much better. Like 2 times 8 barbarians on horses with great weapons instead of Fallen, and
yeah, I mean, and he has Yeah, because I mean, with you put the battle shrine in here, if you put the general in there, you're getting like 3 attacks, like literally like 3 attacks with this banner.
Oh yeah, that's true. But the battle shrine maybe goes into fallen, but it makes no sense because.
Can it join the fallen? I guess it can.
Or maybe it can because they are the damned or something like
No,
whatever.
that should be fine because you can join it with the sorcerer too.
Anyway, this is kind of stupid because then the fallen are light troops, right?
Yeah, and so
So you don't get the rank, so anything that goes into this unit will just break it.
it's not going in there. It's going alone, if anything. Now, I kind of like 10-mana
Yeah.
fallen units. I think a unit of 10 is actually very interesting because 230 points. It's cheaper than 10 warriors, or it's like the same price as 10 warriors that are naked. So if you assume warriors need a musician to be more maneuverable, you have a light troops unit with paired weapons that does 3 strength, 4 each, and they're kind of cheap for redirectors. And
Yeah, but kind of the spiked shields are better than the additional hand weapons.
I think they're cute. I would like to try a unit of 10 or 8 with a
Yeah.
portal because you can portal them in like a line and like redirect things and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They have some,
But definitely not in this core setup. Like
no.
you need more scoring. Like I think the gold rule is to have the 4 scoring. The silver rule is to have at least 3.
Yeah, well, at least his scoring is pretty beefy. Though I think the Forsworn, one, not having cheap musicians,
That's
but I think
true.
he's going to be surprised, especially that he doesn't have spike shields, when people just light it up and it's like 3 left or 2 left, and you're like, I don't have any.
Yeah, yeah.
Model selections.
The Doomlord has 5 attacks only.
Yeah.
So and he is weapon skill 6, so it's not like he will do that much damage.
And he's only halberd, so he's 5 strength, 6 attacks with a touch of greatness.
Yeah, it's usually like
Oh,
okay,
strength
if you
7.
have a spiked shield on the unit, and then the Doomlord is killy, then you can just tank a lot with the Forsworn and kill the people with Doomlord to just grind them down.
Yeah.
But if your Forsworn are dying very fast, then that's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. And like I said, this is fun and cute. I mean, my list, I don't like. I mean, I have a Portent Lord, which is just like dead, 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 dead. I mean, it just kills like everything in this list, like without like a threat of dying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a fun thing, you know. I think you're right. I think the concept is fun. It's there's tweaks, right? This could be a scoring unit.
I still don't think that even the concept in this one is
fun.
is that great.
Well, I said it's
The
fun.
random movers, even with the Lord of the Damned, are just unreliable.
Yeah, one day it might work. Not today.
Like six wretched ones, like okay, they are cute, but what do they really do?
See,
Like,
the thing is,
what
like,
can
for this
like they can
price,
fight zombies or
for this price, you can get 6 damnation, great weapon, Forsworn for cheaper, and they turn in the wretched ones when they break. So I was like, I know that they auto die when they break, and they still don't care. But like, that's the kind of shit that's like, okay, until you lose the random movement as part of it, but you get this solid block that has strength 6, and then when it dies, it turns in the wretched ones. So it's
it has scoring.
Yeah, it's actually hard to break that unit. It's because it's 6 tough, 3-up save models.
Yeah, you can really get 6 Forsworn with great weapons for this price.
488.
Then it makes no sense to pick the wretched ones.
I agree, because they just turn into them. Now, yes, you lose the 3d6 random move, but like you have the Forsaken ones that cover flanks. Random moves isn't always good, because sometimes you just have to walk in front of somebody, and you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. Well, you often can just bump into your units, but it's still.
Yeah. I think random movers take a lot of skill, not a lot.
Well, yeah. On the other hand, if you don't use musicians on your lists, on your units, like most of you seem to don't use the musicians, then the random movers actually don't have that much disadvantage over the regular units.
That's true. So one thing like I don't use a lot is standards. I don't like buying standards a lot, and maybe it's stupid, but I just like I don't.
I think it really depends on what you exactly want to do.
All right.
Standards can be excellent on some units, and then they can just be trash on the other units. I think if you have a killy army, then you don't need standards that much. But if you have an army that wants to be a bit more balanced and stable, then the standards are.
Yeah, I use them sometimes. It's just those are the points where I'm like, if I want to try to fit an item, and I can drop 2 standards, I probably will. All right.
This list is like super cute.
Right? No BSB, unneeded.
Like I don't even know what I can say about this list.
Say something. Let me hear it. I like Nate a lot. I want. He's gonna definitely listen to this. And
This is a great list from the mathematical perspective, because it will look very symmetrical on the battlefield if you position it properly.
these
Other than that,
what's Endless Swarm? Is that fight an extra rank?
yeah, this is like fighting. They will fight from 6 ranks, I think.
So is it good or not? Is it gonna win tournaments or is it not gonna win tournaments?
Is the Vermin Demon going to die or not?
If he dies, does the list
is it going
fall
to lose
apart?
the game 20-0 on turn 1 or not? Because if your Vermin Demon dies, then this whole thing just collapses. And if your Vermin Demon cannot go from behind the hill, then you cannot advance. So, it's kind of sad.
I guess we'll see, right?
It's very, very cool list. That's a cool list. Not what Chris brought us, but that's a cool list.
There we go. I like it. Yeah, how many scoring do we got? 3?
3. But 3 very, very strong, very solid scoring units.
I agree.
And you have a lot to chop, you have a lot to cover flanks. I will be actually interested to see how this list fares. Because it's not actually that easy to get through that. Because you have flanks that can be covered by both Disciples and Dreadmills. And you have a very strong center and you have a lot of chop. That's pretty mobile for the standard of Rats because it's movement 7 and 14.
Yeah, I think you're right though. It's just like, do you lose your general and do you... I mean, because even with the general, if you take panic checks, it's still like one-time checks and stuff like that. It's not... Though these are,
well, most of the lists don't take panic checks, and you probably just put. Okay, it's pretty hard to panic the Rat-at-Arms, and then you put the divination attribute wherever you need it on the giant rats.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's symmetrical, as you said, which is nice. All right, we'll see how that does. This is. I
actually really like that concept. I like to see the concepts out here that are very much out of the box and just don't follow the standards because they're just better.
All right, dwarves. Okay. We all love dwarves.
No Vanguard on the
I noticed that too. It's like kind of takes the fun out of it.
Well, it makes it harder to play against it. Surprisingly, I would say.
Because
it's harder to play against this kind of list than against the list that has Vanguard everywhere.
Why?
Because this list actually has cannons and handgunners that can do something else than just push forward. And if your opponent just pushes forward, then it's relatively easy to outplay him. Here he can just chill out a bit. Like he has no magic, which is kind of okay, but also kind of weird. I think I would prefer to drop 1 Dragon Seeker to bring the Anvil and the Runesmith combination.
I think he doesn't play that often, and he's the brother of the guy with the... So he's just playing a list that like is kind of simple in its own way.
Yeah.
So we're not going to spend too long on it.
But that's not a list that's easy to crush. I think that's a list that should be solid enough. You are not exposing yourself. You are just hanging back. You can try to push someone. So
Another Empire list.
Yeah, I don't understand the two things in both this list and the previous Empire list that was kind of similar. The Prelate with Locket on foot. Okay, you have a leadership 9 general that supports the Imperial Guard unit most likely.
Yep.
But the Locket is kind of wasted. Like you protect yourself from heroes killing your Imperial Guard, but is it really that common? Like, okay, Omen can probably do that, but anything else? And you pay the points for the Locket. Kind of weird for me. It's extremely passive from the perspective of the
Yeah, one cannon, steam. It's just like I don't know. It's just he has no master mage or 2 adepts.
This is probably the most boring list on this tournament so far. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna deny that one. It doesn't seem very exciting, but it's Empire.
Yeah. Oh, and the second thing is, why do you not buy the one up rerollable on the Inquisitor? You can actually fit that. One up rerollable is actually kind of nice, and Artificer deserves a horse here.
Where's he going?
Oh, what?
Doesn't have
The
any
Inquisitor? Oh, I don't think he goes anywhere. He's just a solo cowboy. But okay, why do you take Artificer if you take no machines? I understand that you support the light infantry with the order, but you have the 2 orders from the Great Tactician already, and you're kind of wasting your engineer. Imagine the Artificer was on horse and he had a cannon nearby. Then you not only can chaff, support the light infantry units, and also you give the better ballistic skill to the cannon.
These are all things they can consider their next tournament.
Yeah, and the Exemplar's Flame probably should be on the Cosmology Adept, because you can lose the Pyromancy Adept, but you are not likely to lose the Cosmology Adept, right?
What does this do?
And this is something that you pick a unit at the start of the game, and then give them lethal strikes for a turn. But after you die, you obviously cannot do that.
Oh.
And because you're on Arcane Engine, yeah, this is 100% the most boring list on this tournament.
We got 2 left.
Very soft, but very, very boring.
What about this one?
Okay.
Triple Battle Sphinx is the new thing nowadays, it seems like.
Yeah, kind of.
Do you like it?
Yeah, Triple Battle Sphinx was always alright. The Danish played it for a very long time and they had good results with it. Although it creates pretty boring games, I think. Because with Triple Battle Sphinx, it's actually pretty hard for you to rush your opponent. Because the Battle Sphinxes are kind of fragile. So if something gets messed up, then like they can be crumbled fairly easily. Like not very easily, but fairly easily. And with the War's Healing, yeah, the Hourglass on Divination is really weird. Because if you want to heal with Divination, you will not use the Hourglass.
He has Scepter of Power, though. You've been looking for that.
Yeah, but the Scepter of Power should be on the Hourglass.
I agree, actually, with that one, too. Yeah.
Yeah, because on Evocation, you don't really use that Scepter of Power that much. Like, for the Adept, what spells will you pick from Evocation? You have rerolls to Wound that are 5 up, 9 up. Okay, for the big version, you might need the Scepter.
It's 6 up, 9 up now.
It's 6 up now, the base one?
Yeah.
Rerolls to Wound?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Then I'm sorry. Then this is definitely right. But still, the Scepter would just do much more on the Divination with the Hourglass, because then you actually might try to risk some rerolls on a 8 with 2 dice. And the same goes for Banishment, because now you cannot throw the Banishment with 2 dice, and this is hands down the best spell in the lore.
Yep. Nope. I don't love that either. 1 big block, some Sphinxes, some Entomb things, some chaff. I mean, it has what it needs. Otherwise, it is kind of like it just.
Yeah, I think the concept that was used by Danish was actually a bit more interesting. I don't know if you remember, but they used the concept with Triple Battle Sphinx. Then the core was built with chariots, with like 3 times 4 chariots or something like this, and then you had 3 times 3. What are they called? The guys who can be buried and who can shoot.
Oh, the Stalkers?
Yeah, the Stalkers, yeah. It was really hard to play against this list.
But Wilhelm's like...
Because if you push forward, he has enough chaff, he has chariots, he has sphinxes, and he has the stalkers that would just come from behind, and yeah. But if you stay on your side, then you will either get squished, or he just wins this scenario and you cannot pick that many points out of him.
Yeah. We'll see how
Right?
this does. We'll see how this does. Sphinxes can be really annoying or just die to like some sixes.
Yes. Yes. Sphinx
Alright.
is the same as for Great Green Idol.
Yeah. Alright. Last list. Another ID list. Oh shit.
Hmm?
Alright. I went to
I
like the
think you
website.
messed up something.
No, I went back. Can you see it?
Yeah, now I can see
Yeah,
it.
this one. I think this one because it added late. I didn't remove the hyperlink, so I clicked it and it went to like the website, the 9th Age website.
Okay.
All right.
Shame that he doesn't have the bullhorn of Nazibekesh on his prophet,
Is it
because it would support the rocket battery a lot. The core setup is nice, but for this to work, I think you need someone to be able to really fight in the Citadel Guard unit, in the big Citadel Guard unit.
You just don't think it's
So
ideal
even
for
like if you gave your Vizier burning steel plus Willow's Ward, plus probably what's the
You're asking the wrong person.
probably Basalt Infusion, right? You have 1 up armor save 10 and you can strike, and yeah, that would be a bit better. The big unit of Anointed here is kind of weird.
Is it even big? It's 3.
Maybe I should say the unit of Big Anointed.
Okay.
That looks better. Nice combination with alchemy. They always had a problem with hitting. So actually, paired weapons are probably a really nice choice on them. Not that expensive.
Do you like the Titan?
Maybe that's actually an interesting concept.
Do you like the Titan? I've never played versus the Titan.
Last time I played with the Titan was 2016 on ATC, and back then he was crazy, and now he's kind of shitty. But
What's
you
shitty
never
about him?
know.
I'm curious why he's shitty, in your opinion.
He's very unsafe, especially in the meta that has divination. Here he is basically the only real target for any kind of machines. The frenzy doesn't really help. The 5 up ward is not that much, and it cannot okay, you can compare it to the Go attack, but Go attack is much better because it can heal.
Yep.
So if you actually wanted to have Titan, maybe it would be nice to have the extra bounce spell with the Bashaluk mechanism. If you don't take, yeah.
Is the shooting enough, you think? Are rocket batteries and gunnery teams strong?
The shooting, I think the shooting is definitely enough. Because you have 20 flintlocks, plus the volley gun, plus the rocket battery, plus the infernal engine. There is a decent amount of shooting in the list.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually not that bad. That's one of the more interesting Infernal Dwarfs lists that I've seen for a while now, I'd say.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So
again, I don't think that you needed a triple chaff.
The 2 heroes and the Wolf Riders.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a waste. I would rather spend this one of the chieftains to pump up the BSB and pump up the mage, so that the BSB can really go into the big Citadel Guard unit and really fight his way through. What do you think about this? Because now this unit is kind of like, what does the Citadel Guard unit do?
Scores. It does. What are their strength without the character? Are they strength 4?
Yeah, they're strength 4. But if you wanted to score with them, you probably should put Relentless Company on them or Banner of Speed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about ID to be fair. That's why I trust your opinion. But it's just this unit. What's the point of tanking for 500 points if it doesn't do any damage output and it's slow?
Well, you can try to smash your opponent with the basically two hammers that you have in the list, like the Incarnates and the Titan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the point, I guess.
And then shoot
But the
the
Titan
rest.
is not that easy to chaff, and Incarnates are pretty frail.
Yeah.
So you play against Divination, you play against Cosmology, and then the Incarnates are crying a bit.
Because of the number of ice and fire and stuff.
Yeah, Ice and Fire is not really welcome by the Incarnates because they are so expensive, and from one Ice and Fire you probably lose one whole Incarnate, and that's a lot.
Yeah, and then eventually just it's not big enough to fight off things.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So, what we normally do at the end of these videos, I appreciate you being here. Give me 2 lists that who are your top 3 just based on lists. I know you know some of the players, but
Oh man.
I know.
that's a really tough choice. I'm not going to count you into this kind of competition, I'd say, because that would be unfair to our listeners. I need to open the list for myself and just take a look at them from here.
I mean, I think it's kind of unfair because Mince's list is pretty good, but it's also skewy, and we know he's good. But I know you don't know like anybody else. So give me 2 lists from the people that aren't like me and Mince and Travis.
Okay,
You know us.
that's fair enough. Because Mince is probably pretty good in this meta, so as
There
well.
are some cannons in this meta. There are some cannons and some div mages, so maybe.
Yeah.
But I think you were kind of right where it's like kind of a noob stomper where it could just be like they don't know what to do versus it type thing.
I'm just looking for the lists, and I might be okay. I might do the stuff a bit my way and just delete the list that I don't like, and I will see what I will be left with.
That sounds good. I'm looking through. All right.
Yeah.
So
I don't. Maybe I will be left with nothing. So problem.
Oh man, that's harsh. I don't think that. I think this is one of mine who I think it's either. I think.
Okay, I will skip Travis, although I would probably put Travis somewhere there.
So
oh man, those lists the lists are so close to being good. So many lists are so close to being good, but then the details just come in and crash my ideals, and I'm really sad about it, and I don't know what to do.
Well, I think in Ninth Age, it feels like a little easier to make solid lists, but it's that little tweaks of like the 200, 300 choices that you just question people.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot pick anything basically. Okay, I think I need to go with the dwarf list.
Oh shit! There we go.
Because it's just solid list.
Yeah.
And it can rush you and it can stay forward. Okay. And I'm now wondering. I can probably name 3.
Give me 3.
So the battle sphinxes.
All right.
Are probably okay here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is probably the last Infernal Dwarfs.
Okay.
Just because I like Infernal Dwarfs and this list is actually cool. So I will be left with that.
So we got Konrad going with Simon, Victor, and the Dwarves, Matt Allison. So that's the cool list because you can't pick the rest of us. Mine are going to be, I think Nate Allison is either going to get like a bunch of points or like no points. I think that Vermithorn list is either going to be, there's a lot of cannon. There's actually a good amount of cannons and shooting at this tournament.
Yes.
Like, not so much that I'm particularly super worried, but like enough that I'm like, oh, that's random. It's a lot of knights. I don't know. I like Travis's list, but I feel like there's a lot of armor from them that we get fucked up by.
Well, so for Travis, I think it depends highly on the matchups that he will get. Because if he will get good matchups and his list is really solid and he can do a lot of good stuff. Like if he plays the mirrors, then I think he's good. Because he has the Master of the Divination and other demons don't, as far as I remember.
Yeah, they had adepts.
Yeah. And the Thaumaturgy is just not great in a mirror.
I guess we're going to see, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot about this list with like million small. Yeah, this list is also cool. I just don't like it because of the brigands. They just don't. They just seem to completely ruin the concept for me.
It's so. Just look at it like this. Just cut them off. Delete the unit.
Put double
Scorpions.
scorpion there, and yeah, and this would be in my list, I think.
All right. Hear that, Gene? Drop this for double scorpion. Well, we're gonna see this weekend.
So what is your opinion, Alex? You had the rats, and then what?
Let me see. I like the rat list. I don't like that list. I like Andre's list. I like this list. I don't love it, but I like it. The
Okay,
demons.
fair enough.
Yeah. No, I don't like that. Don't like that. Can't pick myself. Oh god, dang. Nope, definitely not. I like.
Now you have to pick from something different than I do, and you have a huge problem.
I know. I'm running out of things that are like cool. I mean, like, if I think it's gonna win, then it's definitely not some of these lists.
Yeah.
I'll probably go with Mark's list. I kind of like this list. I like the Scorpions. I like has some knight units. I don't know about these. I might make bigger knights, but I do like the Green Knight.
Yeah, this one actually looks like kind of a legit list, you know.
Yeah, well, Mark's at least a contender. Always, so that's good. Yeah, Mark's one of the better players of the tournament. So yeah, those are my three. Those are Conrad's three, and we have the three that we removed because one's me and stuff like that. So I'll tell you quickly from my perspective. I don't mind not seeing a bunch of elves. I like seeing all this armor with my alchemy and my Helmals and stuff. So it'll be fun for me. I'm curious to see how this list does. So, there's a lot of ones I'm curious to see how it does, but
yeah. That's the bonus, I think, of playing in your tournaments and just watching your tournaments, because there are so many weird lists that you just don't see around here.
I'll put it this way.
Because the lists around here are much more standardized, I think.
I think the funny thing for me in my last comment will be, if you took all the names off of the list and then you sent them to me and you said this is from like a Polish big event, there's some of these lists I would think would be better than they are because of it's the mindset of, I know, like, if it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely you have some prejudice, and I have some prejudice, and you can never get rid of that fully.
Like, I
before
think,
you
like,
look at the list. I had a huge advantage over you because I actually didn't know the majority of the players.
Yeah, I should have took all the names off because you saw you knew my list anyway. So
yeah, I knew your list, and I would guess what Chris plays, and Travis sent me his list, so it was kind of pointless because.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, from apart from those three players, I think I only knew Mark.
That's true. So yeah, I like that you had that raw perspective.
Kelly.
I like that. You had the raw perspective of just this list is good or bad.
Yeah.
Whereas when I see Joey, I'm like, okay, well, it's Joey.
So mean.
Well, we'll see what happens, and I appreciate it, Konrad, and we'll see the results in a week.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for
and good luck on the tournament.
Thank you.